I had a couple of weirdos that were just kind of outliers, and we became friends, right? And that became our little let's be in the corner, isolated from the rest of society together.
You were with the weirdos.
Yeah, I was with the weirdos, right? It was a
Congratulations.
there was this Russian guy, and there was this like Chinese kid, and there was me, and there was this Sardar kid, and we were just the weirdos in the corner, and that was our hangout. And I could feel it, but it was just the social desire to fit in. And the way I dressed changed, the way I got my haircut changed. I had a weird haircut. I had one of those like shaved all sides and a ponytail situation. Yep. And then I got a job in a Spanish neighborhood. So my English got pretty good, but then I started learning Spanish to fit in the Spanish neighborhood. So my Spanish got really, really good. People thought I was Mexican or Puerto Rican or like, so, but then the atheism thing actually came, I like to think of atheism as two. There's a psychological atheism and there's an intellectual atheism. And I don't think I was ever an intellectual atheist, actually. That's the intellectual atheism is actually, for most people, I think, is just an excuse. It's 90% of that iceberg is psychological.
I agree, 100%.
Yeah,
that's right.
And then they just top it off with some intellectual excuses and rationales. And then the moment you start chipping away at those really weak rational arguments, then the emotional side just comes out roaring. And you're like, okay, that's what's really going on with you. And that's what was going on with me, right? And so I didn't see the need for this religion. And if you don't need religion, why do you need God? Like everything I need is, I have my friends, you can have popularity, you can have whatever you want, you need a job, you need money in life. These are the things you need. Why do you need to go pray? Why do you need to do all, so that stuff became more and more irrelevant. And then the tip of the iceberg was first semester of college, I took Philosophy 101. And it was two courses I took, Philosophy of Ethics and Metaphysics. So in metaphysics, it's...
Sorry, Ustaz Nouman. So college is at university?
It's so 12th grade is high school.
Right.
And then right after that you start college.
College. So
Yeah.
you like university?
Basically, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we in America, we kind of use it interchangeably a little bit.
Sorry if other people know. I just
Yeah.
not very into.
It's all good. So what happened in philosophy class, I loved it. I loved Plato, Aristotle. I loved I really got into logic and, even religious philosophies and things like that. And then the arguments for the teleological, cosmological, ontological arguments for the existence of God and the counter arguments against them. I was fascinated with that stuff. And at the end of it, I was like, you know what? For every logical argument, there's a logical counter argument for the existence of God. So this is a stalemate. So you get to choose. That's kind of where my professor sort of left it. And then to add to that, I was taking another course called Philosophy of Ethics. And to summarize it, the point of the Philosophy of Ethics course is there is no such thing as right and wrong. It's just whatever you feel. So أَرَأَيْتَ مَنِ اتَّخَذَ إِلَهَهُ هَوَاهُ is the final conclusion to that, And that's really comforting for someone who doesn't want to surrender themselves. Because now I'm the...
أَفَرَأَيْتَ مَنِ اتَّخَذَ إِلَهَهُ هَوَاهُ in English?
Yeah, so have you seen someone who takes their whims and turns them into their God, right? So you become the God. Why do you need to have a higher power? You decide, So in that sense, it felt artificially liberating to be an atheist. And because, I'm in New York, and then my parents, my dad got papers to go back to Pakistan, and he was going to leave in 6 months, right? And I was really excited that he's going to leave in 6 months because I was going to stay back in uni, and now I don't have any parents controlling what I'm going to do. I don't have nobody's going to watch over. I'm going to have complete freedom, right? And in New York, of all places. So this is going to be great. And then Allah had other plans, and He sort of redirected my thoughts and I think my first transformation wasn't intellectual, it was emotional. And then my second transformation was intellectual. So it worked in reverse order.
Any emotional in what sense? Can you explain that?
Yeah, so I saw a dream. That was probably the big event. I saw a dream, and I see myself in a dream, in my own grave. And my head has been turned into a lizard's head. And there's fire pouring out from both sides, like multiple faucets just pouring out fire like water. from both sides. And there's somebody over the grave saying, "This is because you don't pray." And I woke up like that. And by this point, it must have been a couple of years I hadn't prayed anything. No Jumu'ah, no Eid, no nothing. Right? And this is before my parents left. So now I get up and I prayed. I don't even know. I knew there are 5 prayers, but I didn't quite remember how they work. So I prayed some version of Isha, followed by some version of Maghrib, followed by some version of in succession. And
Sorry, so you didn't grow up in a family environment where they taught you how to pray from
they
a young
did,
age,
but
or-
it had been so long since I prayed that
you had forgotten it.
I've forgotten it.
That's it.
Yeah. And then I was in sajda and I started crying. And I kept on crying. And then I fell asleep
Is
crying.
this still in the dream?
No.
Now
This wasn't real life. So I fell asleep crying. I woke up the next morning in sajda. And something in me just kind of got shaken up. And the first thing I decided to do, because I was going to go to meet with my friends the next day. Like nothing in my outside world has changed. Something crazy has happened inside, but nothing outside is different, right? My friends are like, "Hey, you want to go get some pizza?" No, I don't want to go. I don't want to do this. I don't want to do this. I start pulling away from all of my social acquaintances, right? And they start noticing, "You okay? You all right? Is everything okay?" And then I felt the need to pray. So I started finding corners in the campus in college to pray.
Ustaz Nouman, why did you feel the need to pull away from them? Why couldn't you just be friends with them and then in your spare time?
I think if I'm being super honest, I could sense the darkness from their company. Like ever since that dream, you could almost feel a darkness.
Would it be right to say that you feared that if you mix with them again, you're going to lose that
Yeah.
lovely, it was kind of a bittersweet feeling that you had, but there was something.
I was
Did you feel
actually
something
terrified
amazing
of
about it?
losing it.
Terrified of
I was
losing.
terrified of losing it. That's probably how I would describe it.